Hi, welcome back to Tao Twang. I'm Dave. Let me just say real quick, thanks for all the new subscribers and the feedback and the communication with everybody. And a lot of the comments have expressed that the information is making sense to you and it kind of fits the level where you are right now with your guitar playing and with your improvisation. And that feedback helps me to adjust what we're doing in these lessons so that it does fit your needs. And that's a really important part of Tao of Twang. This isn't a performance based teaching method, right? I do the little demos usually at the beginning of the lesson, but it's not like, hey, I'm going to play this stuff and then, go through and show you how to copy what I play. That's not really our goal, right? So it seems like this approach is working for a lot of you. I give you a concept, I give you a map, and then encourage and help support your use of your own musical language using those skills. Okay, so today we got a really straight up straight up 12 bar blues deal. If you're not familiar with that chord pattern, that's okay. The improvisation stills are still going to work with the backing track that I'm going to give you at the end of this lesson. I'll also put the chords up in that outro section so that you can also practice the chords. But let's jump right in. There's one diagram in this lesson as far as solo note playing, or, the pattern of the sequence of notes. And here it is. I'm going to put it up first and then let you hear what it sounds like. And then we're going to talk about it a little bit and add some style elements to improvising with it. So here it is. It's A minor pentatonic. The red dots on that diagram are all A's, okay? But as you can see, it doesn't always have to stop and start on the A. So here it is starting off on that third fret, first marker there. Okay, that's going up, obviously. Well, I just couldn't help going back to that root note at the end of it, right? That's the sound that you always return to. You don't always have to play that note, but the tension that's created on other notes is always pulling you towards that. And that's one of the things that's really neat about blues and improvisation in general. You want to let that tension hang sometimes. Right? You want it. You want that note. So back to the pattern. It's pretty straightforward. The slide indicators on there, the little S with the arrow, they're suggestions. Also practice this without sliding. So that would look like. Okay. Now, anywhere you start playing in this progression, those notes are going to work. And here's an example. When I hit this, that track's already playing. It's just on mute, so we don't really even know where it's going to start. So here's our experiment. I'm just going to start playing using that pattern anywhere in this blues progression and see what happens. Well, that was a pretty good result there, right? So ease your mind. Oh, which chord am I on? Do I need to play this lick because I'm on this chord and then I got to move? Nope, none of that. You get this pattern. I hesitate to say pattern sometimes because it implies that we're just going to do the same thing over and over. At first, that's fine because you get it under your feet. You get that muscle memory stored in your body, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just sit down and when you're warming up on this, use any fingering you want. That was probably a little quicker than a lot of you are going to be practicing it. Do it at your own speed, right? And get to where your hand is already kind of going there before you have to think about it. That's when you know, like, okay, I'm storing this in my body now, not just visually, right? Once you got that going on, you're ready to have some fun. Now, in that intro demonstration, I won't be able to duplicate exactly what I did there, but the main idea was to show that you can do repetitive parts, licks from using those notes over all the chords. And you can even keep repeating. It's like instead of changing the lick for the chords, you keep the lick the same and the chords change. There's a little yin yang, right? Now, here's what we mean. This is the end of that 12 bar, so I'll wait for it to 3, 4, 1. Okay. That makes sense. The chords were changing in the background and the lick became the foreground, right? And or vice versa, right? It kind of switched the roles of maybe what we normally think of. Oh, I'm always adjusting my lead to the chords, right? Now in blues, this is a very sort of I almost want to say sort of magical phenomena with this. It just works out in ways that are cooler than you would have ever thought up of what you were gonna do. So I just think that's really fun. And when you first start experiencing that, you really start surfing that. You're like, man, this feels good. That's a really cool feeling. Other than that, I'm gonna let's put that diagram back up just for a second. It really consists of 4 note boxes in 3 different octaves. Okay, and then like connecting notes between those. Right? You don't have to overthink that, but that's just maybe that helps that kind of abstraction. The what do you call that in memory? In psychology, chunking, right? We put things into groups, and that's how we put them together. And You make a bigger thing out of those pieces. So this is very much like that. Um, Little elements that you can do, bending. Don't be afraid to bend a little bit on your lower strings too. You know, maybe it's not, maybe it doesn't come all the way up to the perfect pitch or something. But it's okay. You know. You hear these kinds of techniques all the time, but until you see someone doing it, then it clicks like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, that's what makes that sound swampy and dirty, right? You know, and then just slides here and there, you know, or repetition of single notes too. One thing you can do is practice this once you get it down pretty good with the single note. Hit each one twice and kind of bounce it to the next note. Now, that's not what you're going to do when you're playing, when you're improvising, is do that all the time. But listen to this. I'll do it just here and there with the double bounce note. It really does something instantly. Okay? So don't want to throw too much at you at once here today. So here's your routine. Get that sequence down. Okay? Do your own thing with fingering and work out some stuff that, you know, your own way of using it. And then the chords will be in the on a slide in the playing along with you in the practice part at the end. And then I'll put the pattern up after the chords so you can see that while you're practicing. And just using these elements that we've talked about, right? Do a little bit of bending and stuff, hanging out in these three zones. Okay. And then some of the, don't be afraid to repeat single notes. Right? I mean, you put those elements together and some good muscle memory of those, of that pattern, you're going to be, your language and expression of blues is going to come out, right? Not mine, not the other, you know, power licks that you had to spend, you know, 3 hours repeating the same lick just to, and then forget it and have to go do it again tomorrow. I do all this, by the way. I'm not. I enjoy it really. I have channels that I follow that are. I'm just like, man, I gotta play that one, you know, and I will. I'll really, you know, spend a lot of time on it, and a week later it'll be completely erased or something, you know. My brain's older than a lot of your alls too, though. So, you know, that's it. Have fun with it. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And thank you so much for letting us be part of your musical journey. Okay, until next time, thank you.